Well, hi, everyone. This is Brian Decker, and I'm with Sean Sturrock from Dallas, Texas. We're here today. We're going to talk about Sean's kind of his career path into real estate and where he's at today. We'll be back with you here in about 20 seconds or so. So bear with us. We'll be right back. Well, Sean, hey, I want to thank you, number one, for just taking the time to jump on today and really just kind of share your story a little bit, and and give us your background on why you chose real estate, and as your career path today, and maybe you can give us a little history on your just on your career in general, and lead us up to where we're at in the real estate today.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to. Well, I can tell you, Brian, I was a little late to the real estate world. I didn't get into real estate till I was 50. So if I take you back a little bit, I was very fortunate, came out of K-State, got a business managing and marketing degree, and went out in the work world and started working. But let me even back up prior to that. I've been married, you guys, to my beautiful wife now, my soulmate for the last 27 years. We got two wonderful children, 26 and 23. And like I said, I came out of K-State, went to the business world, started climbing that corporate ladder. I watched my dad do that my whole life. And that was what I thought the path was to I guess, have the happiness that I was looking for in this world of work. I did that. And in 21 years, Brian, I was with three different companies. And then about around age maybe 40, 41, believe it or not, I got into the world of direct sales. One, it was just a product that my wife and I saw that we loved, which was all about travel and so forth. But I began to meet people that had what I call time freedom and money freedom. And we could talk more about this as this goes on. But I went after that with every ounce of my being for about 10 years and had some success with it, but never really reached true financial freedom. It was just another business path. And it wasn't until, again, about age 50, maybe almost 51, before I got my real estate license and got into real estate. And I've been here for the last 5 years, and it's been an unbelievable journey up to this point.
Oh, that's amazing. That's just, real estate, I think, has changed a lot of lives, and we'll go into that a little bit more on how, that you've really helped a lot of agents, change their lives. So, that brings me really to, what did you envision the path being like to, freedom through real estate? I mean, give me an idea, whether you're a new agent or maybe an agent that's been around for 20 years. I mean, what do you envision a path to freedom like? I mean, what is that? And
Yeah.
Give me your take on that whole thing.
That's an interesting question. Been doing this now for 5 years. Got my real estate license back in April of 2017. And as I really started to ask a lot of agents why they got into real estate, I always hear the same two answers, right? They're talking, it's money and freedom, or money and flexibility. But even if we take freedom and that second part, which a lot of people get into real estate for, you and I know, you definitely know as a veteran agent, freedom is a tough thing to achieve in life. And whether or not you can get it through all different types of avenues. Let's just go back to real estate that we're talking about today. I talk to agents whether or not they're new, whether they're doing 5 million, 10 million, 20 million or greater. I've never met one prior to this model that we're a part of who had freedom, true financial freedom. Because if you think about it, right, if you're an agent who's doing 3 million, you're trying to go to 6 million, what really happens when you go from 3 to 6 million? You're not getting freedom. You're spending more time. You might be making more money, but you're spending more time to do that, right? Absolutely. So whether or not that's more drive time, it's more time writing contracts, more time in front of your clients, more drive time, weekends, evenings, away from your family. And it's all good. And we all understand that's what real estate's about. And at some point in time, though, Brian, after being in real estate for a while, some agents eventually look up and go, goodness gracious, man, I'm working my tail off. I'm always having to pick up the phone. I'm on call. And so they start going, what else could you do as an agent to truly get leverage, which could help lead to some freedom? People start to create teams, or they get a full-time assistant or buyer's agent, or they start to grow a traditional team. Does it really give you freedom? It starts to give you leverage. But if you start hiring those people, you have to hire them, you have to train them, you have to manage them. Then there's this vicious turntable of agents that come into the market, right, and go out the back door within less than 3 years. And then sometimes you bring an agent on, maybe you're a team leader or a broker, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, if that agent becomes real successful, what a lot of times they want to do, Brian, they want to spin off, go to a better compensation package, or become an independent broker where they're getting 100%. So I say all that to go, when I saw the model that we're a part of right now, I'll never forget, it was back in April 2017, and my sponsor, Rob, I looked up to him. He had been around the industry for 40 years. He was a millionaire, had a ton of success in real estate. And I remember he and I were having dinner one night, just to keep it real short and sweet. He didn't know I was getting my real estate license. I didn't know he had come out of retirement to get back into real estate. We're having dinner. He starts to give me a stock tip. Well, that stock tip happened to be EXPI. And as I began to ask questions, I realized Rob's come out of retirement. He's a part of this model. And he looked at me real seriously when I said to him, I said, "Oh my gosh, Rob, you're back in real estate?" I said, "Man, I'm getting my real estate license in 3 weeks." I'll never forget. He looked at me and went, "Oh my gosh, you're kidding me, Sean. Have you ever heard of this model?" And I said, "No." And long story short, when I looked at it that night, Brian, my jaw hit the ground. I knew enough about real estate, having about a dozen friends that were very close to me that were in real estate. None of them had freedom. Now, some were making a lot more money than others, but they were all working their tail off. When I met Rob, he had been a part of this model for 1 year. He had already reached a point of freedom. When I say that, he had passive income of over $20,000 a month, 12 months into it. I remember looking at this whole model that night going, wow, there's a brokerage that's going to give you multiple streams of income, allow you to create, if not freedom, that's a big word right there, at least the ability to one day pull back the throttle and maybe not have to do so much personal production to continue to have money coming in because of the multiple streams we have. Agents are able to look up down the road and have options, and some do get to complete freedom. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to have reached that. And we can go into more of that here in a few, but I'm not sure if I went down if I answered the right question.
No, that's great. Great. I mean, great comments, great information, Sean, for, agents. I mean, it's hard to get off that hamster wheel as an agent today. I mean, if you're trying to increase production and do things, I mean, you get busier and busier and busier, and you just more deals mean more things you got to do. Right. Yeah. And so it does. I mean, and you've done such a great job over the last 5 years. And I know you're at that freedom, you're at that pivotal point in your life to where you could literally probably walk away from what you're doing today and what I consider freedom that a lot of us want, a lot of us agents want. And, tell me a little bit about the first time you really felt like you had freedom, where you could take your cell phone, put it down on the table, not have it on or not have your computer on and have to answer a client or an agent or anybody on your team or any of that stuff. I mean, give me an example of kind of, when you felt that, for yourself and where that was in your life or this real estate path that we're on, this past 5 years. Yeah. When did you feel that?
You know what? Somewhere I was very fortunate and blessed when I became a part of this model. Again, I was so blown away at that there was finally a model that had been created by someone who had enough vision to go, what if we could put a realtor on a path that ultimately they could look up in 3, 4, 5 years down the road, have the leverage they're looking for, but also truly start to create freedom. And what do we mean by freedom? I'm going to elaborate on something for a minute, because I've been chasing freedom, Brian, for at least 15 years. Once I truly understood what leverage and so forth meant. When I talk about leverage, I always talk about two banks. There's a time bank and a money bank, right? Most people I know that have a lot of time have very little money. The ones who are making a lot of money tend to not have very much time. Very few people have I ever met in my life who have both time freedom and money freedom. When I saw the model that we're talking about today, I saw a path in which you could get both time and money freedom. Matter of fact, my sponsor had already attained that in 12 months. Now, most agents will not attain that in 12 months, Brian. We know that. But what if, here's another question I asked agents to kind of answer that question more thoroughly. Other than asking them why they got into real estate, most of them say money and freedom. They'll also ask them, how much longer do you think you'll be in real estate? I usually get two answers, Brian. I'll get, Sean, probably till the day I die or to the day I just can't get out of do it anymore. Why? Because there really has never been an exit plan created for agents. That is totally different over here with the XP in this model. We have literally created a model where you can go do the same things you've been doing in real estate, but we have agents who truly look up in 3, 4, 5 years, and they do have complete ultimate freedom. I was fortunate enough to get there within about 12 to 18 months. Why? I wanted it. I had been chasing it forever. When I saw that there was an opportunity to receive it over here, I went after it with every ounce of my being. And I got to a point within 18 months, I had more money coming in monthly, whether I sold our house or not, that was covering all my bills and expenses. So I, for the first time in my life, had reached freedom, like you were saying, where I could go on a vacation finally with my wife and kids. And I didn't have to worry about picking up the phone, bringing my laptop with me, answering calls, trying to close more deals, trying to help my agents. Because of the uniqueness of how the model is structured. Give you an example, Brian, you know this. I was just up in your backyard last week. I was in Colorado for a week and a half in the mountains at 10,000 feet high. So I didn't have much of a signal when I was outside of a house that had Wi-Fi.
Right.
I didn't have to worry about a thing. And to tell you how unbelievably grateful and fulfilling that is to have finally got to a point in life where if I wanted to, I could walk away, but I don't want to. Here's where I'm at now, Brian. I finally reached it for my wife and I and kids. I want it so bad for every other agent, especially the ones that I talk to. They've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. You know, the number one word I hear as I'm dialoguing with agents, team leaders, and brokers, experienced veterans have been in the industry for 10 plus years. They're tired. They're just meaning every January 1st, it starts over. And they guys start from zero, got to redo it again. And that is not the path over here. You can come over, and not to get into all the details, just know with the multiple streams of income that we have available, you do have that opportunity. So let me give you one other scenario of what I mean by talking to agents who are doing well, doing 10, 15, even 20 million. Good friend of mine, matter of fact, up in your backyard, Jeff, who's in Colorado Springs. When he and I started working together about 5 years ago, I remember him telling me stories. Sean, I've been in real estate now for 20 years, he told me. He said, let me give you an example of what life has been like for me if I try to get away and take a trip or vacation with my family. He said they were going down to Disney one time. He said he was down there every single day. There was multiple times he'd have to take a phone call. They're at the Disney. They're in line. Kids are having a great time with him, but all of a sudden a phone call's coming in. He's knowing he has to answer, whether it's a client, whether it's one of his agents. He's on a call, and he said he did it multiple times every day, and the kids would be pulling out his pants like, Dad, Dad, and his wife looking at him going,
Right.
Are you present with this? But that's the world we all live in. There really isn't the ability to get off of that hamster wheel, like you said, for most agents in the real estate world. Over here, praise God that we have that because of the multiple streams, and we definitely can help any agent get there if their heart desires that.
Well, that kind of leads me into another question for you regarding, we're all part of a group called the Freedom Team. You're one of our key leaders. You're a rock star, by the way. I just want everybody to know that. And, elaborate a little bit more for me or for our audience, how the Freedom Team and how they can positively impact, other agents, beyond yourself. I mean, it's not about us. It's about other agents in my eyes. And I believe you feel the same way. And tell me, just elaborate on, how the Freedom Team and yourself personally is really impacting other agents around the country and the world, at this point.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we're so fortunate that we have now created a team that's over 2,500 agents. Let me say this. There's a traditional team and there's a modern team. I'm talking about a modern team or a group. A traditional team, you bring agents on, right, and you have to get some kind of split for them because you're giving them a certain amount of value. And that's great. We have agents who are doing that here. But we're talking about a modern team where 2,500 of us agents for around 47 states and 7 countries, we come together now every single day of the week. And I think we're up to like 20 hours of additional masterminds we have every single month for our team. So where this started, though, if I go back about 18 months ago, I'd been involved for about 3.5 years. We were having a lot of success, and all of us were kind of running our own path. Yes, we were communicating from time to time. We were running our own path. And as I began to hang around about 4 other major, what I call rock stars, some of the leaders on the team, we all kept coming together. We'd be on phone calls, conference calls, and finally we all started thinking, what if we could create a team where all of us truly came together and we're helping one another grow in every aspect, not just real estate, but personally and family and all that. We came up with the name Freedom Team because ultimately we're all truly looking for freedom. Well, again, this model definitely offers that, but the 4 people that I've teamed up with, they've all sold hundreds and hundreds of homes. A lot of them have had massive and major success we started to really hone in on this Freedom Team group that we pulled together. We've now hired an executive assistant about 9 months ago. Oh my gosh, Kim has been a blessing for all of us in a big way, right? Helping us
Absolutely.
do white glove onboarding, helping create different drip campaigns through our different CRM systems. She's got several days a week that I call concierge hour, where any of our agents can get on, ask any kind of question. She has another hour that's pure lead gen. We're doing masterminds on increase in transactional volume. All this is happening within the Freedom Team. And what I love about it, you can be an agent who comes on board our team. You don't have to participate in anything. But boy, for those that are hungry and want to learn from those veteran agents who are doing the 10, 15, 20 million, that's what this Freedom Team is about. It gives that option for agents on a daily and weekly basis to get involved in the masterminds we have and ask any questions they have. And you're learning from veterans like you, Brian, been doing this forever, that have so much to offer to so many agents who are maybe only 1, 2, 3, 4 years in. So this Freedom Team to me has changed the entire game. And let me say one last thing about that. When any agent joins a brokerage, right? You can either join a team or just be a solo agent and do your own thing.
Absolutely.
Something can be done over here. But if you decide to come be a part of what we're doing here at the Freedom Team, you can still have the traditional team, like I said, but this other team over here, this group of 2,500 plus agents, it's truly amazing to me. We built a agent-centric company. This is an agent, through agent ownership, every one of us now have this vested interest in other agents to help them succeed. Because if we all succeed, Brian, all of us make more money. So you want to help your fellow agents sell more houses. And normally that's a little bit of a different thing. A lot of times it's more of a, I don't want to say a cutthroat business, but sometimes when you have agents in your own office, you're a little hesitant to give them all the info that you know, because
Right.
they're a competitor of yours.
Yeah.
We have a different model because we're global, and most of the people doing the training, 99% of the agents listening into that particular mastermind or training aren't in that agent's backyard. But because we're also all agent owners and we're equity through stock, every one of us have a vested interest to help one another increase our real estate business. And that's what I love about this model.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Sean. I mean, the collaboration between agents and, all the things I've learned, even, since I've been part of this, part of, the team and part of EXP has just been phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough good about it. I mean, you can go out and sell real estate as an agent. You can probably do that anywhere, but I mean, to really up your game and learn from some of the best, around the country is just, I don't know, you just don't get that everywhere, and you can't, at the end of the day. And I think it'll propel any agent if you come aboard and get plugged in and do the right things. And I think more importantly, I mean, our team, just like you were saying, we want, they're a new agent or any agent that comes aboard, their success is, their success is our success. We want them to succeed, right? I mean, it just, one tide raises all ships, as Brent Gove always says, and it's true, and it just makes us all better. And I've just certainly enjoyed it, But so over the last, so tell me, how have the last 5 years in real estate changed your life? I mean, you've been part of, you weren't anywhere else before EXP per se. I mean, you jumped right in and you dove right in. I mean, how's it changed your life in 5 years? I mean, most people that have been around 15 or 20 years, I mean, they're still on that hamster wheel. They're still doing the same thing. They got to go out and they got to sell X amount of real estate to pay their bills and do their things and to live comfortably in the position they're in. Give me a little bit more on how the last 5 years has changed your life, your family's life, and maybe even other agents' lives at this point.
Maybe to set that up correctly, let me maybe say this. In the very beginning, you guys, before I knew the XP model existed, I'd interviewed, Brian, with about 6 different brokerages here in the Dallas area. And I was going to get my real estate license no matter what. My main goal when getting into real estate was I was going to try to see if I could flip a couple houses a year, maybe get some investment properties and try to create the residual income going down that path. And I still am doing some of that. But when I saw this model and that agents could do what they've always done by just selling houses, they could truly create leverage and that freedom that they're looking for because of this unique model. So as I look right now, when I joined EXP and got started and went down this path and saw that there was that opportunity, I caught the vision that you could have freedom. Man,
Right.
like I said in the very beginning, I went after that with everything that I had, and within 12 to 18 months had reached it for myself. But here's what I loved about it. I couldn't get there, Brian, without bringing a bunch of agents, team leaders, and brokers with me. Now, all of a sudden, I look up, and with these, 2,500 plus agents, we have hundreds and hundreds of agents who have created a nice little retirement piece through equity. I mean, not to
Yep.
get numbers, but you know this, Brian. We have agents who have set themselves up with 100,000, some with 500,000. We now have over 100 agents who have reached seven figures in equity type retirement income by simply doing what they've always been doing in just the last 5 years. Then on the third component, where we have another stream of income for those who truly are want to give back in a way and help build this brokerage and bring on good experienced veteran agents, or help new agents coming into the industry get involved in a model that could ultimately take them to freedom. That's what we've accomplished here. And we now have tons of agents who, even if they're making an additional $2,000, $3,000 a month, but it's passive income in general, that can have a major impact on a lot of people's lives, right? You start getting your house paid for, or your house and cars paid for, without you having to necessarily sell houses. Boy, that can be a sense of freedom in itself, where you're not just dependent upon, man, if I don't sell a house in the next 3, 4 months, I may not pay my bills.
Right.
So to be on this end of it now, the fulfillment that I get from helping agents get to that point, if it's just maybe help them save an extra $100,000 to $200,000 toward their retirement, or if it's helping maybe make an extra 3, 5, 7, 10,000 plus in passive income, we have so many agents now doing that, Brian. And I hear all the time, same thing I say to my sponsor that I have agents say to me, going, Sean, thank you so much for sharing this model with me. You have I won't say it has ultimately changed my life, because it doesn't happen overnight, guys. But if you're going to be selling real estate, when I ask people, right, they're either going to sell the rest of their life, or the
Right.
number two answer is 5 to 10 years. And I know this in my heart with all sincerity. If you're a part of this model and you're going to be selling real estate, you will look up in 5 to 10 years at minimum. You will have options, Brian, meaning you won't necessarily have to go sell houses continuously. You'll be able to one day pull back the throttle because other streams of revenue are coming in. You won't be so stressed out that, oh my gosh, if I don't close a house here in the next 90 days, I can't pay bills. We have
Right.
hundreds of testimonies now of people who've been able to pull back the throttle and truly go on a vacation, not take their laptop with them, not be on phone calls nonstop, because the model has set them up in a situation where they don't have to do that. So I guess I'm at the point now, Brian, over the next 5 years, because I plan on doing this at least 5 more. All I'm really wanting to do is give back in a big way. Let agents, team leaders, and brokers know there is truly a model. If you'll take a serious, in-depth look at this, weigh out the numbers, where you could be in 3, 4, 5 years down the road, let us help you. We can personalize this model for you and just show you what it could do for you with zero pressure. Let them just evaluate the model. And that's what I now have a passion for, in helping change agents' lives.
Oh, that's awesome, Sean. I mean, just, the stress, just like you say, the stress level. I mean, I think when you get to that stage, that stress level kind of goes away, and actually you can have fun, in real estate again. I mean, so I talk to so many agents that they're busy and they're making money and stuff, but they're not having fun. And I think when you can have fun and you can make money and live a stress-free life like you do, I'm just, I'm envious, to be honest with you. So,
You're getting there, Brian, because I know you're
getting
cruising
there.
down that path. And,
Yeah, so.
and kudos back to you. I mean, you were just sharing with me yesterday when we were setting this interview up, $4 million in volume you closed last month.
Yeah, we had a good month. Yeah, it was pretty good. So
Had a good month. You say that so nonchalant when there's agents on here that do 4 million in a year. I just say that because you're obviously a very experienced veteran agent that saw this model just like any other agent, and you came on board because you're doing the same thing. You're looking for that path of freedom. How can I
absolutely.
eventually one day not have to sell houses and yet have created enough leverage and freedom where you're not dependent upon having to do that?
Yeah. So no, and I appreciate the kudos. Yeah, you're right. We're going down that path, and I think my 3 to 5 year plan is where you're at today. I want to be where you're at today in 3 to 5 years, and that would be truly amazing. And you're helping a lot of agents. I mean, you've helped me. the teams help me, and we just do that, and it's been phenomenal, Sean. So my hat's off to you and to the group, and I appreciate everything you do for us at this point.
You are
I really
very,
do.
very welcome, man. I enjoyed it. Feel so honored to be on here on this Zoom. It's so interesting to be on this side of it. A lot of times I'm interviewing agents also, but not to go into all the details with people who might be viewing this. But if it intrigues you at all and you're at least open-minded to see what this kind of model could do for you, that's all we love to do is
Yeah,
share the
absolutely.
model, personalize it for agents, and let them just see what it could do for you if you were here. We can apply some numbers and all that stuff so you truly understand how that takes place and what the big picture would look like. But man, I just sincerely appreciate the time. I hope I maybe answered the questions correctly. And
Well, you did great.
Yeah.
So, but thank you, Sean, and I appreciate your time today. And if anybody out there wants more information, please reach out to Sean or myself. My information scrolling across the bottom of the screen. We're happy to help you and spend some time with you and educate you, and hopefully we can get you to reach your freedom point at some point in time. So, Sean, have a great day. Appreciate everything. We'll end with that, and God bless you and everybody else.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. We are done, Sean. Looks like I ended the
Right.